Kathopanishad, Chapter 1, Section 2. Etad shrutva samparighriya martya pravrahya dharmyamanumetam apya samodate modaniyam hi labdva vivritam sadma nachiketa sammanye. Anyatra dharmad anyatra adharmad anyatra asmat krita kritat अन्यत्र भूताश्च भव्याश्च यत् तत् पश्यसि तद्वद्. Now let's get down to the meanings in these two verses. In the verse number 13, Etat Shrutva, this means listening to this. Samparigriya means comprehending or understanding. Martya means a mortal, a human being. Pravrihya means separating. After understanding, you separate. Dharmyam anum etam apya. This entire word is made up of 4 words. Dharmyam anum etam apya. This means separating the essence. Dharmyam means essence, which is so subtle, like anum etam apya, and you have attained it. Apya means having it, attained it. Sa modate modaniyam. Modate means that person rejoices, having attained. Labdva means having attained, having got the source of joy, that is modaniyam. Vivritam Sadma Nachiketasam Manye. Manye means I think, I consider that Nachiketa, for Nachiketa, Sadma, that is the experience of Brahma or the abode of Brahma, is wide open. Vivritam. Vivritam means wide open. Okay, so in this shlok, this is spoken by Yamaraj. And he says, O Nachiketa, after hearing and comprehending what I taught, if a mortal could pull out the real meaning, the essence, separating the permanent from impermanent, wisdom from delusion, real from unreal Mayavi world, and reach the hidden self, that is Brahma, he will then be joyful ever after to have attained this source of joy. I know, O Nachiketa, that the door to such an experience is wide open to you. To put it briefly, Yamaraj tells Nachiketa that you are worthy of reaching Brahma. You are worthy of that enlightenment. In the earlier shloks of section 1, Yamaraj has already explained how we can prepare and make ourselves spiritually fit, just like Nachiketa, so as to be ready to undertake this journey of finding the Supreme Self. In shlok number 14, let's start from the last line. Tadvad, you tell me. Yat tat pashyasi, what you see. Pashyasi means see. Now come to the first line. Anyatra dharmad, beyond or different from dharm and adharm, from right and wrong. Dharmad, anyatra adharmad. What you see beyond actions and the result of these actions. Anyatra asmat krita kritat. What you see beyond bhutaj. Bhutaj means past and future. Bhavyash means future. So now this verse, you can understand now this verse is spoken by Nachiketa, where he is asking Yamaraj to tell him more about Brahma. He says, please tell me that which you see beyond right and wrong, beyond cause and effect, beyond past and future. Nachiketa wants to know about the eternal. Now, what is this eternal? It is neither the past nor the present, but eternal means now. Nachiketa is asking Yamaraj about the Supreme Self, that reality which is free from the rules of dharma and adharma, that is free from the rules of rights and wrongs, that reality which is free from the actions and the results, and which is not bound by time and space. So Nachiketa wants to know this reality, this supreme Brahm, which is completely boundless. So in the following 3 shlokas, Yamaraj talks about the mystic word Om. Now Om is considered the Pranav. It is charged with the significance of the entire universe. It is considered to represent the essence of the Vedas. Sarve Veda Yat Padam Amananti Tapamsi Sarvani Cha Yad Vadanti Yad Icchanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tat Te Padam Samgrahena Bravimi Om Iti Etat एतद् हि इवाक्षरं ब्रह्म एतद् हि इवाक्षरं परम् एतद् हि इवाक्षरं ज्ञात्वा यो यद् इच्छति तस्य तत् एतद् आलम्बनं श्रेष्ठम् एतद् आलम्बनं परम् एतद् आलम्बनं ज्ञात्वा ब्रह्मलोके महीयते. So let's talk about verse number 15 first. Sarve Veda means all the Vedas. Yat Padam means the goal. Amananti means declare. Sarvani Tapamsi means all the tapasya, the tap, the discipline, the rituals, the fast. Yat Icchanto, whatever you desire. Brahmacharyam, the life of discipline. Brahmacharya. Charanti means practice. Hena Bravimi. Bravimi means I tell. Samgrahena, briefly. That is Om. Om iti etad. So in verse number 15, Yamaraj is telling Nachiketa, the goal which all the Vedas talk about, that which all the tapasya or self-discipline leads to, and also that which a brahmachari or a religious person wishes to attain, that very secret I will tell you in brief. That is Om. Whatever one is in search of is Om. The verse number 11 in the chapter 8 of Gita has been inspired from this very verse. Now coming to verse number 16, here Etad means this. Ivaksharam means the word. Gyatva means one who knows. Yo yat ichhati tasya tat means whatever one desires. Ichhati means desires, that will be his. Tasya tat. So in this verse number 16, Yamaraj is continuing to talk about this word Om. He says this word Om is Brahma, Supreme Self. This word is Param, the highest self. Knowing this word, whatever one wishes or desires will be his. Meditating on this word Om will lead one to Brahman. Meditation on Om will fulfill all the desires one has. In shlok number 17, Alambanam means the support, the means, the way. Shreshtham means the best. And the last word here, Mahiyate, means great. So he says, Yamaraj says that this support of Om is the best. It is the highest, And knowing this word and by meditating on it, one becomes great in the world of Brahma. This word Om is the path to reach this Atma, to reach Brahma. न जायते म्रियते वा विपाश्चिन् नायं कुताश्चिन्न बभूव कश्चित् अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे हन्ता चेन्मन्यते हन्तुं हतश्चेन्मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विज्ञानितो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. So these two verses are also found in Bhagavad Gita. You can refer chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita where verses 19 and 20 are similar to these ones. So in the following two verses, Yamaraj is explaining the essence, the reality of this Atma, this self. Read verse number 18. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschin. This means the self or this Atma is neither born nor does it die. It originates from nothing and nothing originates from it. Nayam kutashin na bhabuva kashit. It is unborn, ajo. It is eternal, nityah. And it never decays, shashvatoyam. And it is ancient, purano. It is not killed when the body gets killed. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This self which Yamaraj is referring to is the inner reality of each individual. This reality or this Atma is changeless and without a cause. There is no reason why the Atma is like it is. When this Atma stops identifying itself with the name, all this body-mind complex, and comes to know itself as an eternal spirit, that is Brahma, then it attains self-realization. It gets liberated once it understands that it is the same as eternal spirit. It has no separate identity. Coming to verse number 19, where the word hanta, hantum, hatash, hatam, all these words mean killing or be killed. It says that if one thinks that he is killing someone or the other thinks that he is being killed, both of them do not understand the reality of this Atma, because this Atma can neither kill nor it be killed. So here Yamaraj has partly answered Nachiketa's question about the mystery of death. This self, this Atma is unborn and eternal. It is not bound by the shackles of birth, decay and death. Anoranyan mahato mahiyan atmasya jantor nihito guhayam tam akrutah pashyati vita shoka dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah. Now, this shlok is again spoken by Yamaraj. He is explaining the essence of Atma, self. He says this Atma is smaller than the small, Anor Anayan, and greater than the great, Mahato Mahiyan. And this Atma self resides, Nihito, Nihito means resides, in the heart, Guhayam, of every creature. Jantor means creature. One who is free from desire Akrutah. Tam Akrutah means one who is free from desire, one who is working without the expectation of result, can see and realize this Atma and become free from sorrow. It is only through the grace of God or through peaceful mind that one can see the greatness of Atma. Now there is a controversy in the meaning in the last line, Dhatu Prasadan. Some say that Dhatu means creator and Prasada means the grace of the creator. But some say it means the silence of the mind, silence of the senses. So we have included both the meanings here. That it is only through the grace of God and through peaceful mind that one can see the greatness of Atma. So this is a very beautiful shlok where it talks about Atma in a way that it is so small, at the same time it is so vast. It's both. It's limitless. When we silence our mind and our senses and forget the existence of everything outside ourselves and ourselves too, it is then that we can see the essence of this Atma. In fact, this shlok gave me an inspiration of a different way of meditating. This is from my own personal experience. I would love to share that with you. Just close your eyes and visualize all the millions of dynamic cells inside your body. Just visualize what is happening inside each cell. You can even see a video on YouTube to help you grasp how a biological cell works. Feel its mesmerizing, active, living state. And then suddenly shift your focus to the vast Brahmand or this universe. Visualize that vastness, the endless space in the universe. Enjoy this vastness. After a while, again shift your focus back to the cell. You can even visualize an atom instead of a cell if you want to. Keep on oscillating between this microscopic cell and this limitless universe. And while you are moving between these two opposite entities, at some point during the deep meditation, you will feel a sudden spark when both of these contrasting entities, microcosm and macrocosm, will meet in your mind. And you will feel so blissful at that moment. That feeling is indescribable. This is just from my personal experience. There are many various ways of meditation, and I'm sure you all are aware of those different ways of meditation. Asino duram rajati shayano yati sarvatah kastam madamadam devam madanyo gyatum arhati. Asino means sitting. Duram vrajati, meaning it moves far. Duram means far. Shayano means lying down or sleeping. It goes everywhere. Sarvataha means everywhere. Kastam means who. Madannyo, apart from me, is worthy. Arhati means worthy of knowing. Gyatum means knowing. This God, this Supreme Devam, is both joyless and joyful. Mada madam. So Here, Yamraj has already described how this Supreme Atma, which is smaller than the small and greater than the great, is eternal, is never born, and cannot ever be killed. But it is kind of a struggle to describe this Atma, this Supreme. Thus, Yamraj here is using contradictory examples to explain this. He says that the Supreme Brahma or the Atma, while sitting, can travel far. While lying down, it can go everywhere. Who else apart from me knows best about that Supreme who is both joyful and joyless? Now you must be wondering why Yamraj is describing the Supreme through such opposite statements, such contradictory statements. It is because the Supreme cannot be thought of or even spoken of in words. This concept of Brahma or Supreme is far beyond the limitations of human mind and senses. Without moving, it can travel fast, faster than light, faster than mind. It is within and without. Supreme Brahma is both the peaceful constant and also the active energy. It is an enigma whose description cannot be limited into words. अशरीरं शरीरेषु अनवस्थेष्व अवस्थितं महान्तं विभुम् आत्मानं मत्वा धीरो न सोचति. Here, ashariram means bodiless. Sharireshu means among the bodies. Anavastheshva means temporary or transient. Avasthitam is permanent. Mahantam means great. Vibhum means one which is present everywhere. Matva means meditation. Dhiro, a wise person. Na sochati. Sochati means grief, sorrow. So na sochati means without grief and sorrow. So again, this shlok is spoken by Yamraj, where he is explaining the qualities of the Supreme Self. He says, the wise man who is meditating upon the Self knows that this Self or this Atma is not just inside him but is everywhere. This Atma is bodiless among bodies. Ashariram sharireshu. This Atma is present in all the bodies but remains unchanged and unaffected by anything. It is the only permanent thing in this illusionary world where everything else dies one day. Anavastheshva avasthitam. Such a man who can understand this real nature of Atma becomes free from fear and pain and attains the blissful joy, Param Anand. But this cannot be attained only by thinking. This state of bliss can only be reached by regular and deep meditation. नायमात्मा प्रवचनेन लभ्यो न मेधया न बहुना श्रुतेन यमेवैष वृणुते तेन लभ्यः तस्य एष आत्मा विवृणुते तनुं स्वाम्. Now here, Nayam Atma means this Atma cannot be attained. Na labhyo. Labhyo means attained by any lecture, pravachan, or it cannot be attained even by intellect. Na medhaya. Medhaya means intellect. na bahuna shrutena, not even by listening. It can only be attained, tena labhyaha, by the one whom the Supreme Self chooses. Chooses means vrinute. And in the last line, vivrinute tanum swam. Vivrinute means the self reveals its own nature. Vivrinute. So here, Yamraj is telling Nachiketa about how this Supreme Self can be attained, and it is not in our hands. We have already talked before in previous verses that how the Supreme Self or this Atma is beyond the powers of our limited mind. And this verse is a very famous one that says that neither can this Supreme Self be attained by lectures, not by intellect, and not even by listening. If God chooses, you may know, otherwise not. We, through meditation and self-discipline, can only make ourselves ready to receive such a blessing. We can only bow and surrender to the Supreme Self. It is not for us to choose. If the Supreme wants us to attain this enlightenment, we will. He is the one who chooses. Our karma is only to meditate upon this Atma selflessly and with complete surrender. Rest is God's doing. He alone decides. But didn't we say that this Atma inside us is everything? This Atma is the Supreme Self. So basically, this verse means that Atma chooses Atma. Thus, to only that fortunate person, that lucky person who is able to lose his complete identity and dissolve himself wholly in this Atma inside him. Only to such a one, this Atma or Supreme Self is revealed. He is the one who is able to see what his mind or intellect or senses could never have ever comprehended. Na virato duscharitan na shanto na samahitah na shantmanaso vapi pragyane nainam apnuyat yasya brahma cha kshatram cha ubhe bhavat odanah mrityuryasya upsechanam ka ittha ved yatra saha. Now first, talk about the meanings of the verse 24. Here, duscharitan means bad character. Na shanto means whose mind is not calm. Na samahitah means who is not able to concentrate. Na shanta manaso, who is not able to control his mind. Pragyanen means knowledge. Apnuyat means attaining, reaching that. So here, Yamaraj is telling Nachiketa that a person who is evil, who is not calm and composed, whose mind is unable to concentrate, that person, even if he has the right knowledge, will not be able to see and feel this Atma. So even right knowledge, pragya, cannot lead you to the Supreme if you are not moral and ethical. So this verse mentions the moral requisites needed before one embarks on the spiritual journey of Atma. Simply put, if we wish to attain the spiritual, we cannot bypass the ethical. So in shlok number 25, you can see Yasya Brahma cha Kshatram. Brahma here means priest, Brahmins, and Kshatra means nobility, kings. Ubhe means both the priests and the kings. Bhavata, become, food. Odanaha means food. Mrityur means mrityu, death. And up sechanam means sauce or the curry. Okay, so this shlok is a very different kind of a shlok. Let me tell you the meaning. So here Yamraj is saying, for the Supreme Self, for this Brahma, for this Atma, even the knowledgeable priests and the kings signifying greatness and nobility, even such people and all of us are like food, and death is like the curry, a side dish, a sauce probably. Basically, all the creation of this cosmos, including us, are like the toys of Supreme Self. So this particular verse has been inspired by Rig Veda, one of the suktas of Rig Veda. I'm sure you have heard of this creation hymn of Rig Veda. So let me just say a few lines from this Rig Veda Sukta. सृष्टि से पहले सत नहीं था, असत भी नहीं था, अंतरिक्ष भी नहीं, आकाश भी नहीं था, छिपा था क्या, कहाँ किसने ढका था, उस पल तो अगम अतल जल भी कहाँ था, नहीं थी मृत्यु, अमृत भी नहीं था, नहीं था दिन, रात भी नहीं, हवा भी नहीं, वह था हिरण्यगर्भ सृष्टि से पहले विद्यमान, वह तो सारे भूत जात का स्वामी महान. So these are a few lines from the creation hymn or Nasadiya Sukta of Rig Veda, which is saying the same thing the shlok number 25 is saying, that the Supreme Self is omnipresent. It is present everywhere. Space and time have no meaning where this Supreme Self, this Atma is concerned. We do not know when this creation has arisen, or even whether Supreme Self is founded or not. He alone knows, or perhaps he knows not.